Hey guys, I want to give an update on our Turo fleet. So, for many of you who don't know, but we've operated a small Turo fleet from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we live, with 4 cars, 3 cars all the time, and we've swapped a few out here and there. Um, we have recently, in short notice, downsized. Uh, Sold off 2 cars immediately. Turo's recent price structure changes has had drastic effects. We're friends with other hosts in the business that have 4 to 7 cars, and they're saying the same thing. Um, there's weird things happening within the app to where you can't really make changes. Somehow the app will say, you know, technical difficulties at this moment, try again later, something like that. They're offering ridiculous savings. So, for anybody who's considering to start Turo, do your research, make a spreadsheet, go over every single facet of possible expenses that you can dream of. Think it over loud and clear. Because I've been doing this 2+ years. 250 trips I think we're up to right now. We've managed to be a five-star host the whole time, but it has not been easy. We've had 1 car stolen. We've had numerous, other instances with guests losing our key fobs and lying about things, and you never know who you're going to be dealing with. But as far as the business goes, I mean, we've seen a better benefit for tax purposes than we have actually made money. We've had a 2020 Toyota Camry that is consistently priced around $42 to $45 a day. And once again, we're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We took on a 2017 Audi A4, which was the nicest car we had in the fleet. And it was a little more at about $48 to $50 a day. And that small price difference, that car sat all the time. We'd have to lower the price just to get it out there. Also, we had a Volkswagen Tiguan, which was a very popular car and busy until it became problematic. And when it cost more money at the dealership than it made us every month, it was out the door. We recently took on a Toyota Corolla, which so far has been a perfect little car. But the price structure is something to go over. The 75%, you will not make 75%. You will make much less than that, and that's what I have to be clear on. They have different price structures, but you get paid 75% after they take off their fees and all the coupons and savings that they offer the guest. The early bird special, 5%. Trips going beyond 1 month, they take some ridiculous amount, like 60% off. And after the 60%, what's left, you get 75% off. For example, we have a 1 month rental that began today that will most likely be the last one we'll do with our Toyota Corolla. And it's set to make $395 back to us in 30 days. That is absurd. Our car payment alone is almost that much. So for anybody that's new, that's getting ready to get into this, I would advise look at other options. This is just me being honest. I've met some really cool people doing it, and other hosts. I've met a ton of fantastic customers that have been great and repeat business. But certain things that have really bothered me. I could go into greater detail, but that's pretty much it. Just look into the price structure, and you're going to need commercial insurance. You cannot use Geico or Progressive, even though Progressive says they have a commercial insurance. That is not for ride share person to person. It's rideshare like Uber or Lyft. They do have that. We've used ABI. We used Lula, which is now out of business. Turo also has, I forget the exact name, excuse me, but they do have an insurance program through their platform for Turo hosts, and it's on rent policy. It's only when the car is rented, then it's handled through Turo's insurance. When it's back home at your driveway and it's not used, then it's covered from a different policy. But that's just another thing. Anybody have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'd be happy to help and steer you in the right direction. I feel like I've given it my all. I had a lot of money invested and a lot of time, and you know, I have an LLC that we have structured just for the Turo business, and I'm a full-time boat captain, and I have been now for 25 years. That's my sole means of making money. But the Turo thing was a side business, and it was good while it lasted. But as of this summer, those price changes, they have made drastic changes. So for anybody out that's just looking at Turo, like I said, spread all the facts out on the table. Listen to the people like myself and other Turo hosts that have been doing it a long time, and really dig deep, because once you sign on that dotted line, if you're going to finance a car, you're going to have an issue right out of the way of after you make that car payment and your insurance, and you set aside some for taxes and maintenance, what is actually left? I know there's not much left. I've been doing it long enough to tell you that there's really not much meat on the bone after it. I'm grateful for the money I have made, because as a boat captain, it's a very seasonal industry here in South Florida. And when those downtimes come, Turo, the income from that has helped. And I said before that there are certain benefits tax-wise that seem to outweigh any real financial means or monetary gain that you might get. There's a huge thing on YouTube, as there is on Instagram, and people want to push this idea where they're making $25,000 a month. I mean, if you buy a car outright and you own it, you're going to spend probably 3 years nonstop, full time, before you ROI on a car. I mean, an average Toyota Camry, if you buy a used one that's in decent shape, it's going to be about $23,000 to $25,000. And that is not a brand new car. It's used. It might have 30,000 miles on it at that point. And it can only go as far as 130,000. So at that point, you have 100,000 usable miles to keep that car on the platform. And that being said, Turo claims to have 22 day per month average rental days. So if your car is set to make $50 a day, remember, like I said, you are not going to make that 75% or whatever price structure that you choose of their multiple options. You're not going to make that. The math is not going to add up. You're going to have to go back through your trip receipts, and you'll see where the fees have been, what they charge, all their admin fees. So that being said, you're going to have a tax benefit that's going to outweigh the monetary gain. For example, our cars, we depreciate over the 5-year depreciation plan, and because of that, that definitely offsets our grand total income. So our gross adjusted income has benefited from that, not having to pay as much. But if you take on a car and you depreciate it immediately, and say, for example, you keep it for 2 years, you're going to have to do the recuperation tax in the end when you sell it. Is pretty much like a capital gains tax. And that, depending on the value of the car, how much you recuperate, that could be a whole nother issue. So Anybody out there that's thinking about doing Turo, like I said, not to be running on, just think crystal clear on it. If you have any questions at all, like I said, I'm Captain Matt. I'm known as the Fish Advisor. That's my channel. But this is something I've done for 2.25 years now, full time. My wife and I, and we work great as a team. We're happy. We've had a good experience overall. One other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Turo has recently changed some of the features where the interactions between the guest and the host. For years, it was required that a guest would ask approval to extend a rental, and you could deny or you could approve, but they had to ask first. And that was beneficial because there's certain guests, you just have a funny feeling about the people. It's hard. It's, you deal with people day to day, and they come to pick up a car and somebody might be shady, or they might lie, or they're late, or there's something about them that just seems off. In that case, when they want to extend the car, you could say no. And you could say, you've had the car for 5 days, so sorry, something else has come up. You have a plan of escape to get your car back. But now, as long as that car is available, they do not have to ask your permission. They can extend it day by day, even a couple hours. So it seems to be that Turo is leaning more in favor for the guest than they are for the host. And as long as that paradigm exists, that balance, or imbalance, I should say, that things are going to be completely tilted. Turo hosts are probably going to get irritated or fed up, and they're going to want to pull the plug. That's exactly what's happening to us. So that's a lot of investment and time. It's not a loss. Thankfully, the cars that I have had, they were not paid off, but I owed less on them than what my appraisals were worth through CarMax, so I was able to get rid of the cars and have really no financial ding to the wallet, other than stress and time. I have definitely accumulated some gray hairs over the last 2 years. Give you a little quick rundown. About 6 months ago, we had our Audi. We got picked up late at night. The guest was very urgent and was asking if they could pick up the car earlier than scheduled, in which case I just told her that the car will be available at her original reservation time and not earlier. When she showed up, she was there's something about her. I just had a bad feeling. Days went on. Day by day, she continued to rent the car. No problem. The car was available the next day. She kept doing the reservation extension, and I was fine with that. But all of a sudden, the car was booked by a new client. And within 10 minutes, she messaged me to say, hey, I'd like to extend. And I said, unfortunately, someone else has rented the car tomorrow. You'll have to bring it back. And that's the point where things took a turn. At that point, she said, I can't do that, nor will I, because I'm in Orlando. Now, you must understand that Turo hosts are required by the insurance to have GPS trackers. We can tell exactly where you are, how fast you're going, your driving habits, all that. So without missing a beat, I looked at the app and I went, she's not in Orlando at all. She's right here in Fort Lauderdale, less than 3 miles away from where I live. So I called her out on it. I said, you are not in Orlando. You're still in town. We know where the car's at. Well, day after day, we found out that she had been in an accident. She hit something. There was no structural damage, but it was cosmetic. The next thing you know, our GPS location is showing the car has traveled all the way to Little Havana, Miami, which, if anybody's familiar, that is not a safe place at all. It's not a residential, mostly an industrial park. The crime rate is absolutely astronomical. So I had to work with Miami PD show them proof of ownership of the vehicle, the rental agreement and whatnot, and bring my spare key. And with the help of the GPS tracker, we were able to pinpoint the exact location. And the owner of the body shop was nice enough to let us in, and we got that car back. You want to talk about a nightmare. For $50 a day, it isn't worth it. Don't do it. That's it. That's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, hit me up in the comments if there's anything, any questions you have at all. I'm not a YouTube influencer. I'm a captain, and I do Turo on the side with my family. So I'd be happy to help you guys. All right, signing off.